So, I went and saw Contagion today, which just opened, I think, yesterday. Directed by Steven Soderbergh and starring a whole bunch of really great actors. Some of my favorites. Great cast like Matt Damon, Kate Winslet, Jude Law. Um, the one chick I never want to say her name because I always screw it up. Marianne Cotillard. Cotillard. I don't know. Um, Lawrence Fishburne, a whole bunch of people, and it's a under the world type disaster virus thriller type thing. Although I'll get to that more. It's just when I saw the previews for it, I thought this looks pretty fun. Sorry, I'm a little sick, and it looked good to me. Like I was excited to see it, but I didn't. Later I found out it was directed by Steven Soderbergh, who it's weird because he's a pretty acclaimed director. He started off, I think, with Sex, Lies, and Videotape, and he's done a little bit of everything. I think he won awards for Traffic. I think he did Aaron Brockovich. What else? What else has he done? He did the Oceans movies, like Oceans 11, Oceans 12, whatever. He's done some more indie shit too recently. He always gets a very good cast because he's like this respected, awesome director or whatever. But it's weird because I've never really enjoyed any of his movies all that much, to be honest. I feel it's weird. Like he's done like all sorts of stuff, like all sorts of different drama, like or genres. But I just feel like he never totally respects them, and he always wants to put his own little Steven Soderbergh spin on them. Like I didn't even enjoy Ocean's 11. Like I didn't enjoy it enough to check out Ocean's 12 or 13. So when I found out it was him, I was like, that kind of sucks because I don't really like him that much. But the movie still looks fun, and it has some of my favorite. I think Matt Damon's a great actor, and I love Kate Winslet because she's my wife. I love her. Um, so I went in anyways. Went to go see it. And I have to say, it was it was better than I expected starting off. Um, it's just very intense and scary. And the thing I loved about it the most, besides that stuff, is the music in it. Like I haven't seen anyone really talk about the music in it. I'm actually gonna try to look up the music for it on YouTube after this. But it reminded me of like an '80s horror film. I was like, man, this movie really knows where it's going, like what it wants to be by using music like that. And oh, I'm in for a great ride. And it is mostly a pretty great ride. Um, the story is just there's an outbreak of this virus that kills you pretty quickly, like within a day or so of you getting it. And there's all these people at different Center for Disease Control, World Health Organization, et cetera, et cetera. They're trying to get the bottom of it, and they're trying to figure out how to stop it. Like first of all, they're trying to figure out what it is, how can they stop it, and the situation keeps looking bleaker and bleaker. You have Lawrence Fishburne. I think he's in the Center for Disease Control. He's trying to stop it. The Marianne Coty, I can't say her name. She's like in some, I forgot the agency, but it's like in Switzerland or something. And she goes to investigate perhaps the disease's origins in China. You have Matt Damon, who in the first 5 minutes of the film, his wife, who's played by Gwyneth Paltrow, who I also like a lot, she dies. She gets back from a trip from China, where she, not a big spoiler, but she was cheating on her husband, and she dies. And he's just trying to, you know, get over her dying, I don't want to spoil too much, but like he's trying to cope with what's happening. Jude Law is like this blogger who I think used to be a journalist, but he's kind of crazy. Like at first you don't really know like what to think of him. I guess I'll leave it at that. But he's trying to get to the truth of what's going on. Kate Winslet works for the CDC, and she's out like doing field investigations, trying to pinpoint where everything started and who people might have spread the disease to. It takes a pretty like wild and crazy like premise like the end of the world with this virus, but like treats it as if it was really happening. Because this could it could really happen, I guess. There could be a virus that kills people instantly and it spreads very quickly. Who's to say that couldn't happen? And it treats it like how would these people and these organizations and stuff respond to that? And that it's very good at it, and it gets as it keeps getting better and better as it's building towards the end, and it gets like crazier and crazier, and like the way the public reacts is very I think spot on and awesome. I don't want to give away too much, but it's just people start looting, people start robbing their neighbors, stuff like that. um, and it was very effective and very scary. And then the last 20 minutes happened, and the last 20 minutes I wasn't too thrilled about. I liked the very last scene. I thought it was cool. I won't spoil that either. I thought the last scene was cool, but there's like 20 minutes between this awesome build up and then the final scene, and this 20 minutes I think is problematic. Some people think there's like a problem with the film not really having a main character, and all these characters are developed enough. IGN said the main character in the movie is the villain, and the villain is the virus, which is correct, I think. But that's okay. I mean, you get enough, and they claim that's one of the problems with the film is like you don't really know enough about these characters, and they say it's just like a flaw. There's no real main character. There's no one to root for. But I was kind of rooting for all of them, and I thought for a movie with like a large ensemble cast, like they're all developed enough. Like you have Lawrence Fishburne. He wants to do the right thing. But at the same time he wants to get his wife to safety. Like you get enough. But my real problem with the film is just as it keeps getting better and better and better, and crazier and bleaker and scarier, it kind of pulls back. And I'm not trying to spoil the ending. I wish I could go more in depth on this. It's just, I'll put it this way: my ending would have been darker, a lot darker. But instead, I think you kind of, God, I'm trying not to spoil it. You get like 20 minutes of optimism, a little bit of hope or something near the end. When the movie's just poised to be this awesome genre picture about the end of the world, and things kind of change up near the end. Maybe it's trying to be still realistic, or I don't know. But I just felt like it kind of betrays itself and everything that it set up. I don't know. I didn't dig the last 20 minutes. And it was weird, too, because before the last 20 minutes happened, I'm like, wow, this movie is getting really awesome. And I hope it doesn't end. I hope it goes on for another 20, 30 minutes. If it doesn't, I hope they make a sequel. That's how much I was with Contagion up to that point. And then it just kind of like, I'm just like, why did it switch up like that? Why does it go that direction? I'll just say I would have went in another direction for the last 20 minutes. The last scene, for those who have seen it, they'll know what I'm talking about, where they show day one. We'll say that. I don't want to spoil. I think that's awesome. That's cool. That's a nice touch at the end. I would have had that ending. I think that's a great ending, and I would have had everything building up to that. I think for the first hour and a half or so of the movie, I'm like, this is one of the best movies I've seen of the year. This is intense, engaging, and it's weird because like the people don't know what to classify it as. I think they classify it as a thriller where I think thrillers are more about suspense and what's going to happen next and how are these people going to plot against these people and this and that. I think this is a horror film, or at least it is up until a point where like the whole main point of the movie isn't to put you in suspense; it's to scare the living shit out of you, and it's very damn good at it. I mean, up until the last 20 minutes, I was like, this is one of the best horror films I've seen, not just this year, but in a long, long time. Like maybe since 28 Days Later. Like I was in love with this movie. Last 20 minutes though, which I can't discuss because I don't want to spoil things, but I was just like, why would you take this direction when you've built up so much awesomeness and you've started to unleash all this awesomeness? Really, like just crazy, scary stuff happening. And people looting stores and fighting over who gets the last of some prescription of something, and then you just kind of pull back. The movie pulls back. It goes to the brink of total chaos, and then it pulls back. It bugged me. But I mean, overall, even with that, like I think a problematic third act or whatever, I enjoyed it a lot. I don't regret going to see it. I don't hate the movie for going the direction it did. I just wish it would went in the direction I would have had it go, which is just if you're gonna do something like this, just go all the way. That's why I love Stephen King's The Mist, because it just goes for it, man. Like the ending for that, not to spoil, but it just goes for the bleakest, darkest ending because it knows what it is. It's a horror movie, and people are like, well, people like happy endings. People like people like when the good guys prevail and they solve shit and they figure shit out and some sort of glimpse of hope. It's like, fuck that, dude. I want straight on if I don't want horror to leave me with like a cozy, comforting feeling at the end. And I think this is a horror movie. I don't know if anyone else would agree with me. I think it is a horror movie. It doesn't have a lot of gore or anything, but it's scary. I mean, it has some. There's like an autopsy in it. It's pretty fucking gruesome. And I heard people. I had these old ladies sitting behind me. They freaked out about it. But and the audience was into it. It was silent, and like there was little brief moments of humor where they laughed, almost like nervous laughter, almost just to get some sort of laughter out of the situation because it was so bleak. But then I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking in the third act. I just don't agree with it. At the same time, like I said, I really enjoyed it. I'm sorry to ramble on, but I really enjoyed it. Like, where would I rank it? First hour and 10 minutes or so, I'm like, this is 5 out of 5. This is one of my favorite movies of the year. And now it's like it's somewhere between a 3 or a 4, just because of the third act. I don't know. I still have a lot of goodwill towards it. Like, I don't hate the movie, even though I don't dig the third act. At the same time, it's like it drags it down. I don't know. I'm gonna give it, I guess, 4 out of 5 stars. I still think you should definitely see it if you're into like this type of genre. Check it out for sure. It's worth going to see. Um, you might not have as much problems with it as me. As I said, audiences like you know, not the bleak ending. I'm trying not. It's not a happy ending, but I'm just trying not to spoil things. I just wish things went worse. I'll say that. Um, I don't know. I've rambled on about this enough, but if you saw it, let me know what you thought. If you haven't seen it, I hope I didn't like spoil things for you. But if you're thinking of see it, definitely go see it. I'm definitely saying go see it. I'm giving it 4 out of 5, despite the problems I had with it. So there you go. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow night for Breaking Bad.